He wants the bad leadoff.
I know the Navy game is going to be a lot different than the Tulane game. Just what did you see on film from the team overall from last
Yeah, I mean, just what you thought. I mean, couldn't have been more proud of how our guys came out ready to play. Offensively, I mean, hitting on all cylinders. Preston was playing great. Receivers were making plays. They're really good against the run. Obviously, with some backs being banged up, we felt like we could hopefully take advantage down the field. But to go out and do it was good. And then, defensively, the very first play, get a TFL for like a -3, and you play an offense like that, you're not playing your base defense. It's a unique week, and to do that in week 12, I was really proud of how the defense played. And then overall, I know we had the muff punt because McGill just let it go over his head and got caught in the sun. But overall, we played good on teams besides that. So it was a good, complete game, and with the exception of a few injuries, it was a good day.
With Kevin getting ready to start, I know you guys kind of had that dress rehearsal before the UNT game where he was getting a lot of those first team reps in practice. Have you noticed anything different out of him this week, knowing he's the guy this week?
Haven't seen anything different out of him. We haven't treated him any different than we would Preston. Look, it's his first career start in college. He's human. Who knows how he'll feel? He won't be perfect, but everyone here has a ton of confidence in him. And we don't. It's not just something we've been saying since the spring and before the season that we feel like, just like last year when we had Tanner and Preston, this year we felt like we have two guys that are quality starters that can start on any team in this league. And so we hate not having Preston, but we believe in Kevin. He's been Kevin, which is all he needs to do on Saturday. He didn't have to go win the game. He's got to be him, and it's always good when you can turn to a guy who's won a state title.
Yeah,
well, he had a lot of success at South Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know that. But what were your first impressions when he stepped foot on this campus and had a first practice here?
He's been he's the same guy every day. You hear the saying, steady, even keel, whatever. Like, that's just him. The moment's never too big for him. He may miss a throw or a read, but like the moment's never. He's steady. He's the same guy every day, and that's what great quarterbacks do. The whole team believes in him. They love him. He's been going against our one defense all fall camp and all season. He's been a big reason why it's helped make them better because he moves the ball on them. And so, the first time I ever saw him was at state playoff game. They were playing, I think, Lovejoy in the Star. And we were there to see like three other people. It was like my first week on the job. About a quarter and a half in, I'm like, who's that? He just stands out. The way he throws it, runs it. But more than anything, like you're asking, just his demeanor, how he just is. He's just calm. He just exudes confidence, and that was the first impression, really.
Yeah, when you talk about that confidence, this being a conference championship game, this big of a moment for a first career start, how important is it that he has that confidence kind of built in from winning and doing those things? Winners
win, and so having that DNA is huge. As y'all know, he won DISD's first state title in like over 60 years. And he played a game in AT&T, right? Like, that's pressure. And I'm going to be honest, there's no more pressure in a conference championship game in the American Conference than that. Like, if you're a competitor, it doesn't matter who you're playing, where you're playing. The pressure's the same, right? And so, yeah, it's a bigger stage. Yeah, it's on national TV and all that kind of stuff. But to the competitor, he's prepared for those moments. He's, fortunately for us, over the last 2 years, had a few stints in games that were like critical. I mean, he played 2.5 quarters of the Tulane game that was never the issue was in doubt, right, the whole time he was playing, and played well. Last year when Tanner gets knocked out, he comes in, leads us on a 90-yard touchdown drive before half against Memphis in a tight game, and then this year against Rice in the fourth quarter in a tight game. So he's been in those moments. It's not like he's just come in when we're up by a lot of points, and I think those things will really help him too throughout the course of the game.
Game overall, just what have you seen from Tulane this year? A little different, but a lot of key pieces back in spots too.
Yeah, a lot of key pieces back. I mean, they had the two really good linebackers and the running back, but like the quarterback's back, the O-line's back, the wideouts are back. They got a running back just as good as the one last year. Defensively, whole D-line's back. The secondary, they're a really good team. Very similar to last year in that they play excellent defense. They stop the run. They stop the run almost as good as anybody in the country. And our defenses kind of mirror each other a little bit in style. Like, they don't give up explosive plays, play a lot of single high coverage like we do. So they really make offenses earn it. They've been able to turn people over quite a bit. You look last week, they had 5 turnovers. Offensively, they want to run the football, and then Michael Pratt's really efficient. And so what they do really well that all great teams do is they don't beat themselves. They make you beat them. And, more times than not in college football, if you don't beat yourself, the other team will do it for you. They'll beat themselves. And they've been able to do that. They've been able to close out close games at the end. I mean, there's a reason they're, 22, 23-3 in the last 2 years.
I think you talked a little bit about your contract extension on the Zoom call on Monday, but I was curious, getting that signed, getting that done this week before you even play the championship game, does that mean anything to you that, that the administration sees what you guys are doing here regardless of whether you bring it up?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot that the administration wants us here. Everybody in life wants to feel wanted. We're excited about what we're doing here. I think it's good. It speaks to our staff. They want our staff here. And as a head coach, when you get an extension, they talk about you. It's really, they want our staff here. They believe in the vision, what we're doing, and the culture we've built. And it's great stability for our players, especially here over the past 5 or 6 years. There's been some up and down with that, as there is all through college football. So it's awesome to be able to provide that to our guys. Rick Hart and I started talking after the North Texas game. So really, credit our administration. They were behind us before we even went to Memphis. Like, the conversation had been ongoing. We just announced it and got everything, to where everybody was on the same page by Monday. But we'd been planning this for a couple of weeks. This is where I wanted to be. Fortunately, this is where they wanted me to be. And, I don't know what our players think, but they didn't boo me or anything, so I think we're good.
Does that, not to take away from the game, but does that allow you to kind of maybe start some conversations with staff and do things like that? Or
it does help. It's kind of like anything else. If you know what you're going to do, go ahead and do it. And like I said, we knew this is where we wanted to be. We started talking, last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And to get it done, to your point, helping staff retention. Look, we got some good staff members that, look, if they can go get head jobs or coordinator jobs, like, you're always going to want the best for them. But it does give me the ability to start those conversations to try to retain them and get them on par with what they deserve and where we're going. Fortunately, our administration's given us the resources to do that. I think you start talking about recruiting and retention and the transfer portal. It's big, Who knows what's going to happen here or anywhere next week, but, you feel like you're in a good position where the guys here know what to expect. And so they're not going, well, maybe I should put my name in just to see because I don't know what's going to happen. And then in the high school recruiting and in the transfer recruiting starting next week, guys know what they would be coming into. So I think it helps on all fronts to just kind of, like I said, have stability.
This game, we talked with Coach Woods a little bit about it, but going to the defending champions, going to their place to try and overtake them, you'd love to play a home game, but is there some symbolism and just kind of everything in that a little bit too? Yeah,
I mean, if you're not going to have neutral site championship games, then this is the way it should be. They're the defending champs. Like us, they went undefeated this year, so no one's really knocked them off yet. So, I mean, they should have that edge. And, it gives you an opportunity to go down there and have to really earn it. And, last year that was by far and away the worst game we played. They had a lot to do with that. And so, if you're going to do something really hard, then I think it's the way it should be done.
What does the opportunity, like you said, national TV, obviously you're playing a team that won a group or New Year's Six bowl game last year, defending champs, like what does this potentially mean for the program?
It's important. I don't think the outcome of this game really has a long-term effect on maybe how this team is remembered. This is a great team. They've done a lot this year. They've been a blast. And, if we aren't able to get it done, it won't diminish that. It won't diminish the momentum we have. It'd be great to do it because these guys have worked really hard, and I think they deserve it. When it comes to national attention, all we can do is go play and win. And if you don't win, you validate the doubters. And if you do, then who knows what people think. I mean, there's a lot of people that no matter how much we've won this year on big stages and how much we've won by and all that, they still don't really believe in us. So, you can sit around and think about that. That doesn't really help you. We've got to focus on a really big challenge, which is Tulane. It's great that it's on national TV. It's great that we're playing on championship weekend. It's great that in most of the polls it's 2 ranked teams. It's the way it should be. You got 11-1 and 10-2, and both teams undefeated in the league. That's awesome, and so that's a great opportunity. Just like I'm sure Tulane would say the same. And the best thing we can get out of is we can find a way to win. We can say we're the champions, and we don't have to rely on anybody voting or any computers or anything for that. Like, we get a chance to control that, and it's going to be hard, but we get a chance to opportunity to earn it.
Any final injury updates or anything like that?
You know, Preston's out. So he had a really good surgery yesterday. Everything went great. He'll make a full recovery. Jane Jones will be out. He suffered a shoulder injury in the game the other day, unfortunately. And Braden Flowers will be out with a knee injury. Those 3 guys will be out for the rest of the year. Marcus Bryant should be back. I expect the running backs to be back. I think everybody else I expect to go. If there's somebody I'm missing, but you know, we had going into basically week 13, we got a bunch of guys beat up, but they're ready to play.
And then I heard you mention it, and the conference tweeted it out a little early, I think, with all conference stuff. Some might see it and see some snubs.
Yeah.
And some of that, is that just kind of maybe a result of the depth of this team and nobody has those outstanding stats? And is it more important than, what this team has done and is trying to do than some of those individual things?
I mean, we're going to celebrate. I mean, I think, we're going to have a bunch of guys on those teams that all deserve it. And so it's an honor that the league did recognize the team when you have as many as anybody had make teams. But to your point, a lot of guys, you don't play everybody in the league. So, 6 coaches didn't even see us play this year other than crossover film. A lot of people, candidly, are probably lazy and just look at stats. I don't know. So we had a lot of guys that the league voted, and we're appreciative of that. And there's a lot of really good players in this league. So, when you start talking about a first team, there's a lot of kids in every league in the country that are good enough to be on the first team that are on the second team. A lot of good kids on the second team that are on the third team. Because you just, at some point, everybody, there's a lot of deserving players. So we got good players in this league. We're honored to have the guys that make it. I think to your point, though, on defense, I think we have over 20 guys with over 20 tackles. And unless Kobe slid in there late, we don't have anybody in the top 25 in the league. We know our situation at wideout and at running back. It's just been a true team. And that's been pretty cool. And like I said, we're getting to go for the ultimate team goal this weekend, and that's the most important thing.